Hey, welcome back. I'm Anna and today we're doing another class in our beginners course. So this will be our 5th class and today we're going to be progressing things a little bit more yet again, jumping into a few new poses, a few different movements and continuing to challenge and grow and learn as you develop your practice. So as usual, let's start with a little meditation and some breath awareness. So coming into a comfortable position on your mat and closing the eyes, just resting the hands down in the lap, sitting up nice and straight and tall. Just beginning to bring your awareness here and now. Beginning to become aware of the breath. Noticing the inhalation and exhalation. And now bringing your awareness to sounds. Any sounds that you can hear outside, in your house. And just noticing those sounds arriving at your awareness without any effort on your part. Notice how they arise and fall away. And then noticing the breath again. And observing how you can be aware of both of these things at once. We're starting to broaden our awareness. You are the space within which these things are arising. And as you do this exercise, noticing how thoughts will continue to come up. And then just letting them drift on by and returning to the awareness of the breath and of the sounds occurring around you. Okay, and gently opening your eyes. So just a short little meditation there as we start to explore some of the tools that you can use to practice mindfulness as well. It doesn't matter if you feel like you couldn't really get it, or people say to me often that they're really bad at meditation because they can't clear the mind. We're not trying to clear the mind. We're trying to be aware of what's happening in the mind and be able to actually observe that rather than just let it control us and go about the day unaware, essentially. So we'll start to explore a few different tools here and there. All right, let's jump into the practice today. So coming up to standing on your mat, and today we're going to take some spinal waves. So with these ones, we're trying to start to articulate the vertebra in the spine individually, where often we just move our spine in kind of one big block, and we especially as adults, have usually lost that connection with different parts of the spine. It can really feel like the spine is just moving as one. So I'll turn to the side to show you here. What we're going to do is start with a head leading spinal wave. So leading with the forehead, we're going to wave forward. So head comes up, then the chin, then pressing the chest out, then the sternum, abdomen, and the hips. Okay, and then we start again. So head, chest, chin, chest, sternum, abdomen, hips. And as that happens, the head is returning and starting again. So just have a go. It can take a little while to start to feel this one out. Another good tool here is if you have a free wall, some wall space in your house, then you can do this against the wall to give you a bit more feedback. So wall is here, you'll touch forehead, chin, chest, sternum, yeah, abdomen, hips, and then again. So it just gives you a little bit more feedback on what you're doing. So we start to warm up the joints here. Okay, so don't worry if you feel like you're not getting this. I'm still learning how to do these as well. Takes some time. And you can go really slow at first so you can actually feel the movement in each part of the spine. It can help to close the eyes. And now we're going to reverse, which is a little bit tricky. So now we're going to lead with the hips. Okay, so if you're doing this at the wall, the hips will touch first, then the abdomen, then the sternum, then the chin, and the forehead. Okay, so now hips, tummy, sternum, chest, chin, and we go again. So have a go at this one. You'll notice sticky points where it feels like you have the least movement. For me, it's the upper back, the thoracic spine. So I really try and focus on that part of the spine and visualize the movement through that area, even if I feel like it's not really happening. One more. Well done. Have a bit of a shake out. Rock from side to side. Okay. Take a few little wrist circles and we're going to jump straight into our flow. So today we're going to do a bit of a different vinyasa. So you'll have to pay a little bit of attention. We're just going to take a standing vinyasa. So just staying a little bit more off the wrists for this first part. So taking a comfortable stance with your feet, and we're going to inhale, sweep the arms up and come into this chair pose. Okay, so nice deep squat there. Chest is still up, so we're not leaning forward too far over the legs. Then I want you to bring some weight into the left foot and see if you can hover the right foot just off the mat, or if you need to, just have the toes touching. Okay, from here I want you to sweep all the way through with that foot. Arms can come back to the side. Little bit of a balance, foot can be down low, and then step back to our crescent lunge position, arms coming up overhead. Beautiful. So you're on the ball of that back foot, stretching the heel away, Left big toes firmly down into the mat. And then let's open the shoulders out into that cactus position. Lovely. We're going to press up, straighten through the front leg, plant the back heel, and take a lunge, a side lunge into the right leg. Okay. Press back up, pivot back around to our crescent lunge. And we're going to come back the way we came. If you can, finding a little bit of balance. Sweep that foot back through, finding one-legged chair, or just have the tips of the toes resting down. Back to chair, standing up and returning to our standing pose. So this one is a little bit strong through the legs, and we're incorporating some balance. Let's do the other side. Inhale, arms come up. Left foot hovers. Sweep it back just off the floor and step to our crescent lunge. Open out through the chest. Strong through the legs. Legs are pressing the ground away. Left heel sending it back. Now straightening through the front leg. Pivot the feet. And side lunge into that left leg. Okay, for now keeping that right foot planted down and the left foot is slightly splayed out to the corner of the mat. Pressing up and we're pivoting back to crescent lunge. Getting ready to step forward. One-legged chair. Place the foot down and standing all the way up. Let's go again a little bit quicker now, tuning into that breath. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale. Hover the foot. Send it back, find that balance. Step it back, crescent lunge, open the shoulders. Pressing up, pivoting on the feet. And lunging into that right leg. All the way back up, crescent lunge. Reach forward, find that little bit of balance if you can. Through to that one-legged chair. And back to stand. Inhale. Hover the left foot. Find that bit of balance. Step it back. Crescent lunge. Into our side lunge. All the way back up. Reach forward. One-legged chair. Plant the foot and standing up. Nice. So if you're wobbling and falling through those transitions, don't worry about it. Just come back in and try again. Your foundations are really important. So that's strong through the standing leg, pressing big toe into the floor. Okay, let's try again. Inhale. Hover the right leg. Send it back. Maybe you find a little more height this time. Plant it down. Open the shoulders. Press it, pivot on the feet. So right foot splays out and coming down into that side lunge. Press it back up. Pivot back into crescent lunge. Reaching forward. One-legged chair. And back to stand. Beautiful. Check in with the breath. We're holding the breath. Breath is probably a little bit quicker now, so just returning to that beautiful equanimous breath. Inhale. Hover the foot. Take it back. Plant the foot down. Open through the chest. Pressing up, straighten through the legs, pivot the feet, and into our side lunge. Pressing up. Back to crescent lunge. Hover the foot. One-legged chair. And back to standing. Nice. Okay. Now, I'm going to move on. I want you to step out to the side and take a wide-legged stance with the feet. So, don't have to be as wide as you possibly can, just a comfortable wide-legged position. From here, I want you to splay the feet out slightly to the corners of the mat. Okay? We're going to work a little bit on those side lunges. So this is called skandasana in yoga or Cossack Lunge, and this is one of my favorites. So you can work quite high, but what we're aiming to work towards is to be able to come down, so we're in a half squat position with this leg extended. Okay, this requires a lot of ankle flexion, so being able to come down into quite a lot of ankle flexion on this bent knee. So I'll give you a few modifications. If you need to stay up higher and work here, we're going to be working side to side, then you do that if that's enough for you right now. Some modifications, if you want to try and come a bit lower, you can use the hands to support you on the way down. You can come up onto the ball of this bent foot. Okay, and you can come onto the heel over here on the left foot. So that will give you hopefully a little bit more room. You can use the hands to press you up and come down. Okay, otherwise you can just come as low as is possible for you and work side to side here. And over time, as you build the strength and mobility, then you'll be able to come lower. I want to try and keep the spine quite long, so we're not rounding forward and down. Even if you're coming down quite low, think about trying to stay quite upright rather than rounding down. Okay? Just moving a few more side to side. Okay, one more either side. And coming all the way back up, meeting here. Might be a bit out of breath, it's good. Okay, taking the feet back into this wide-legged position, and we're going to take goddess pose. This is also, so coming down, we want the thighs as parallel as possible to the floor. So this is called goddess pose in yoga or horse stance in other movement circles. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Okay, so coming down here, and we're holding here just a little bit. So I want you to try and keep the breath flowing in a nice, even and calm rate, okay? Even though I know it's probably starting to burn already, but I'm going to distract you a little bit. So why don't you tell me which name you think is best for this pose in the comments? Horse stance or goddess pose? I think they're both pretty good names for different reasons, but you tell me what you think. All right, almost ready to come out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Coming up, stretch the arms overhead. And we're coming back in. This time, I know this is hard, but we're really building strength through the legs. This time, I want you to lift the right heel, then the left, right, even if it just comes off a tiny bit, and the left, right, left. Now, can both heels come off? Maybe it's just a tiny bit, Maybe you can get them up a little bit higher for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up. Whew. Well done. And walking the feet in towards each other. Shake a little bit out. Again. Nice job. And we're going to come straight down to the floor into a squat position. So we've done this one before. We're down in our low squat. If you need to modify, you can have the heels up off the mat. You can prop something under the heels to help you. Or some people find it easier to have quite a wide opening of the knees. Okay? Or if you're comfortable in the low squat, just coming down. So a couple of options here. We're going to work on crow pose. Okay, the foundation for crow pose is the squat, because essentially we stay in this position and we come up, okay, off the feet. There's a few different variations of crow. Today we're just going to stick with the most accessible version for most people, which is with bent arms and stacking the knees onto the triceps. So I do recommend to have something soft in front of you if you're a bit scared of face planting, which is perfectly reasonable because I have face planted before. It does happen. And if you have a block or something that you can prop up on, let me just grab mine. Okay, if you do have a block, you can also just use anything, a book or cushion to prop up your feet. If you're just starting out with this one, then that will be good. All right, so have that behind you there. I'll show you without the prop first, and then I'll show you with. So have the hands out in front of you, about shoulder width apart, a nice firm grip on the mat. We're going to keep the gaze forward, okay? If you look underneath you or down between the feet, you're probably going to do a somersault. So we're keeping the gaze forward and start to load the weight onto the triceps. This might be plenty for you today. You might already be feeling shaky and like it's a lot, and so you'll just work there. A few breaths there and coming out, a few breaths there and coming out as we start to build the strength. If that felt okay and you want to try and go a little further, then keep taking the weight into the arms, so rocking the weight forward, and see if you can lift one foot and then put that one down, the other one, and then we can try both. So take a little rest and let's try again. So take one foot off, keep the gaze forward, and maybe the other one comes off too. Keep pressing into the floor and come down. So just try as much as you can, even if it's a second, half a second, and then you come out, and we'll slowly start to build the length of time we're up there. The block is handy, and I'll show you why. You can put your feet up on something like a block, and it means you're almost already in the position, so you don't have as far to go to hover the feet. Okay, so that's a really good place to start, is using a prop to hover the feet off and on. Okay, I'm gonna take a 10-second hold. So for those of you who feel like you want to try that, then do. For everyone else, we'll do 10 seconds. If you fall out, just come back in. Okay, no drama. Just fall out, come back in and have another go. Okay, here we go. Ready, coming up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming down. So, I hope that went well, but if you fell out, don't worry about it. It's all just a process. You've got something to work on. Awesome. If it was easy for you, then that's awesome as well. All right, just moving your props out of the way. We're going to come to the floor now and just take a couple of seated poses before we finish up. So bringing the feet out in front, let's take a few of our windshield wipers here. Okay, we've done these ones quite a few times now. So if they're feeling easy for you, see if you can take the hands away. And if you're feeling up for a little bit more of a challenge today, then as we get to one side, we're going to try and press up. So you can use the hands if you need to, and push all the way up, and then drive the hips forward. On the way down, nice and slow and controlled. So again, if you need the hands, we don't want to plonk down. Yep. Coming through the middle, staying nice and tall through the spine. And again, see if we can come up, push the hips forward and lower down with control and take it to the other side. Might find you traveling forward a little bit. Okay, let's try again. If that was challenging, then just do that one again. If you felt like that was manageable, then see if you can go without hands. So using the legs and the hips to press you up, hips forward, and then again, lowering down, nice and controlled, and coming through the middle, and pressing up, down with control, and back through center. Good job. Okay, we're going to finish with a modified pigeon pose. So for this one, let's start with the right leg out in front. We're going to take the right leg parallel to your mat, so as much as you can. And then this left leg is just going to be out at 90 degrees and the leg going back. Okay, so in this position. I want you to drive that left butt cheek down to the mat. It might not touch, that's okay. So it might be off, but just think about driving that hip back and down. Okay, and now we're going to start to come forward with the body. So again, keeping the spine nice and long, coming forward, just exploring where you feel it most. For me, if I turn a little bit over that front knee and come down at an angle, then I actually get more of a stretch through the right glute, which is what we're after. Stretch through that right glute, okay? Keep the hands off if you can, but if that's too strong, you can support yourself with the fingertips down on the floor. Okay, explore your range. So coming down over that knee and then lifting up. And 2, let's take 2 more. 3 and 4. Nice. We're going to switch over. So you can just switch that way if you like. I'm going to switch facing forward so you can still see me. So now we have the left leg forward, parallel to the mat, and the right leg out to the back. Okay, so again, thinking about driving that right hip and butt cheek down to the floor, nice and long through the spine, pressing the feet and the legs down into the mat, and then see if we can tip forward, and then exploring that range for yourself where you feel that stretch through the left glute. All right, and let's take those pulses. So coming up, 1, I like to keep my arms out of the way. 2, remember you can support yourself with the arms if you need on the floor. 3, one more. And 4. Nice. Let's take a couple more breaths here, holding. And coming all the way out. Bring both feet back to the front. Take a couple of little side to sides for those hips. And now lying down, if you like, take a few breaths in our final relaxation, or you can just stay seated with me. Bringing the hands down into the lap or to the knees, closing the eyes. Lovely. All right, just taking one hand over the other at the heart center. Lovely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that class, and I hope that you are starting to feel like you're seeing some improvements, both physically and mentally. And it can feel frustrating, like I've talked about before, like anything new, but just little by little, we're starting to piece things together and delve a little bit further into your practice. So thank you so much. We're going to do another 5 classes after this. So you'll have 10 beginners classes, and by the time you get to the end of that, you'll be just fine to jump into any of my other more challenging or intermediate classes. Okay, have a beautiful day. See you soon.